These were planted on April 25th. Some of our first planted, early maturity, just to get them going and get them off early come this harvest time. So we've made 2 passes since they've been planted. That first pass is that herbicide pass, but we also started putting Ag Explorer's Fast 6 product down with the herbicide, and really seeing a really good response out of that. Just the beans don't go through that herbicide and be so stressed out. And then we came back at that R2, R3 time and put on another quart of Fast 6, and we also added a quart of Octane along with a fungicide and insecticide. Yeah, this is the home farm here. Nice, you know, pretty flat, tiled. We've been able to feed it over the years, build up soil. So yeah, this is some of the best. I would take a lot more like this. All right, pull this water hump. Cut.
Dicamba beans or 2,4-D beans? What
These are enlist.
Enlist beans?
Yeah.
They look great.
A 2.6, 2630 specs.
Okay. And that late season octane, what that's going to do for you is it's going to drive nutrition source to sink. So when beans go into reproductive, or when plants go into reproductive phase, they want to take nutrition out of the tissue, right, out of the leaves or in the stalk and corn, and they want to drive it into the kernel or into the pod in these soybeans, for example. So that octane, being what it is with the multiple sugar complexes, the intake technology and inception technologies help drive that and give this plant energy to drive that source to sink and fill out these pods. So it's a good complement to the Fast 6.
They look good. They look so much greener, and I don't know if the octane is attributing to some of that.
Could very much be a part of it.
They look a lot happier than past years. Obviously, we're under some moisture stress right now, but
Shelby, what'd you do on your first pass?
First pass was interline pass with some clethodim, and then we added the Fast 6 in there too, a quart.
So you fed these beans throughout, right? Building this factory all the way through. So through that architecture, vegetative stage, the industry calls it, right?
Yeah.
And then into this late reproductive phase. Good for you. That's truly managing a crop, managing a plant, right?
And they look like it.
What I get excited about is what I call top crop. No pun intended to the show. But you know, these top clusters here, when these things fill out, these are what make me excited, because a lot of times this is where the next 5 bushel lies, right? You know, 4, 5, 6 bushel can lie in these top crops. And typically what Mother Nature is going to do too is turn hot and dry, and she's going to stress this plant out and promote ethylene glycol production inside this plant, and it's going to start aborting those pods. So if you can do anything you can to limit stress with technologies like Octane and Onward Max, those really will help the pod retention, this pod set, and allow this plant. I mean, you're doing a lot of stuff feeding this thing, feeding that plant. So you got some real potential in these soybeans.
Good. August rains. It's a Japanese beetle.
It's what it takes.
If you're staging at R3, then I'm staging probably ahead of, I would technically call it R4.
R4 is going to be going into full pod set. So you still have a lot of pods that are setting up here. It's really late R3 is what I would typically call this. R4 is when you have pods all the way.
Okay.
And then R5 is when those pods start to change colors, right? They start to get the pod fill. So
you're not using the 3/16 University, Iowa State University. That's what I use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you counting 1 at the top? Top 4, is that what you're doing to get to R4? Is that how you're counting it?
Yeah, I normally, I don't count this guy, not fully developed. 1, 2, 3, 4.
How long ago did you spray these beans, Shelby?
Oh, I have to get the binder out. Ethan, it's been a, yeah, it's been a,
probably a month. Or maybe not a month. But
I can look on the sheet. And I think that's something too. I think in the past I've been spraying too early, and we've kind of waited around a little bit, drug our feet, especially with this last chunk, to try to get him a little farther along. But maybe we're still a little bit on the early side.
You know, I'd say as an industry, Shelby, I think that we were taught, and I'm dating this back to like 15, 18 years ago, when they came out and said, hey, we need to do fungicide on soybeans and corn, right? So you remember when Russ came in, it was, well, you might be a little too young for this. Yeah, thanks for aging me, Shelby. But you know what, when Russ came in, all of a sudden we had to make another fungicide pass. And they talked about on soybeans hitting them at R3. And as an industry, we got used to doing it at R3, and I'm here to contend that I think that we pushed that a little bit too late on average. I think we need to spray that fungicide in front of stress events.
Okay.
Because fungicides obviously do more than just what control fungus, right? They help with overall plant health. But I think that an R2 application followed by that R4 to 4.5 to R5 application, I think that's the best way to manage beans if you're really pushing beans.
Okay.
So. I'm one now that most of my fungicide goes on at R2.
Okay.
Right? And then if disease is still present, come that late season application, I'll put a generic. It's a little fun fact for you. When soybeans get in situations like this where it's too hot, what they do is they tend to flip over and they start bringing the backside of the leaf out, right? So what you'll find a lot of, and I noticed, I don't know if it's when we first walked in here, if that was some chemical burn, but I noticed some brown on the leaf. What it'll do is it'll give sun scald, because the back side of this leaf is a thinner cuticle than the top side, and that sun scald will burn through that and it'll show it on the other side, the main side, right? It's got the waxier cuticle. So fun little fact. Did you notice the node length between this and what Corey had? Right, so these are stacked up, and this is what I love to see. I love short beans. I don't get lost in them. Right, so Ethan's laughing because he's 8 foot tall, so making fun of the little guy.
Where's my dad? Because he's like, short beans, I hate them, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, height really doesn't mean anything.
No, no.
I think the shorter the plant, the more energy can go into the fruit.
It can stack it, and you're not wasting a lot of energy on internodal spacing. And when you think about that translocation process late in season, when you've got an opportunity to go a shorter distance, you're probably going to be more efficient with it.
That makes sense.
So I love seeing beans like this.
They just don't grow tall like in Corey's area, so I could try all I want, but I mean, this decently tall, don't you think?
Do you have any SDS issues?
We normally don't see too much. Is that what that is?
When you see this, when it'll turn chlorotic and then necrotic on the inside, a lot of times that's a telltale sign of SDS, which moves with tillage. So it's actually one of the prettiest diseases I've ever seen if you can actually find it. So if you can dig it up and find it on the root system, it's a neon blue fungus, and it's detrimental to yield. I mean, obviously I just picked this off of one plant, so I'm not going to sit here and say that you got an SDS issue by any means, but it is a pretty disease if you can actually see it.
I didn't know that. Blue.
Yeah, it's neon blue. It's like the blue on your bag.
Learned that in diseases, but forgot about that. Huh.
Yep.
I'll have to dig one up next time I see it.
Well, it'll have a lesion alongside the main root, the trunk of the root underneath the ground, and you'll be able to find it. It's neon blue.
Dig that up.
For a disease, I mean,
Dark too?
it might. So we should try that out as an experiment. We should do a little lab and set it up. I don't see anything in here that makes me panic, Shelby. These beans actually look really good. I love seeing this, like this cluster right here. I mean, look at this dude, just stacked.
Yeah.
Stacked and branched. That's great.
Not a lot of 4-beaners.
I like short beans. They're easier to walk in.
Not a lot of 4-beaners. A lot of 3s.
Shelby, do you see a difference in your genetics from the 3s and 4 beans?
Not that I've
or
noticed.
Is it more weather dependent for you?
I would say more weather dependent.
Yeah, that's what I see too. Let's go look at corn.
Yeah.
I want to see corn.
Early corn, late corn. It's all over the board. We had like 4 planting seasons again. Maybe we'll go look at a field we're gonna fly. Because then if there's any goodies, maybe we could add. Because right now the plan's just Veltima.
Let's go see it.